Yeah.
So um, the concern of one of our members, who doesn't seem to be here right now, is the rapid rise of Somalians in Minnesota. And so my brother had a genetic makeup on him, and it came back that he is 99% Ashkenazi Jew and 0.001 Somalian.
I got to get rid of that
So,
guy.
so my question is, my curiosity is, how did the Somalian get in there? Do you think they came up to Latvia or Lithuania, and they set up shop and had sex with one of my ancestors? Is that possible, or could it be a mistake?
Well, maybe perhaps it was sharing a toilet seat. You never
It
know.
well, you don't.
No,
That's
I,
possible.
I can I can see how some trading ship had a Somalian on board, and they how many generations ago?
Many.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's entirely possible, I suppose.
Well, it's nice to know that I'm a mixed breed.
Well, I'm not sure.
I'm more worried about the culture than I am about the genetics.
Oh, there's no problem with the culture, is there?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Are
Um,
you talking about ancestry, Bob? Or you what kind of a test did you do? A spit test?
Ancestry. It called You and Me 1 2 3 or something like this. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've never heard it be just two things, Jew or Somali. I've always heard that you're
It's not just Jew. It's Ashkenazi Jew. Okay,
Yeah.
which
There's
is a
Hmm.
Jew from Eastern Europe. So, but that's what it came back. 99% Ashkenazi Jew, and I'm sure there were others, but nothing of any
If
consequence.
you
But
think if you think of the tree going up and branching and branching and branching and branching, over there, somebody did it with an ants with a Somalian, and all the rest of these people were Jews, but that one little gene has stuck around.
it's possible.
So
Well, it's
your
possible.
great
Grandmother.
yeah,
Mhm.
dallied in a marketplace with a cute boy.
It's possible that we do have that inclination in my family. So.
Would not worry about it.
yeah.
Someday I would like to have a discussion. It's not for a futurist meeting, but I am concerned about the Somalian culture growing in the Twin Cities. I am of mixed. I'm of mixed thoughts about this because everyone that I've ever talked to that's Somalian seems just fine with me, and anyone that I talk to in my little Jewish community that has been established around me really has concerns about Somalians, and
Hmm.
I don't know how to link those two things together. I prefer not to be worried about it, but I don't know.
I
Something to something to worry about.
I encountered a lot of Somalian coworkers when I was at Life Touch Shutterfly,
Hmm.
and some of them were my leads, and some of them were my supervisors, and I find them to be hardworking, family-oriented people who have a great sense of humor. And the fact that they're taking away your job is something that I think is a personal problem. Um, I now think that there's enough work to go around, and they're very rarely taking a job that you really want to do.
So what is it that I care about? Okay. There's a speaker named, she's a woman. Her last name is Ali, and she's a pretty powerful speaker about the fact that she does not believe that the cultures of the Somalians and the culture and Western culture, whatever the hell that is, mix. And so it's caused me to think that someone who I don't want to actually value as a cultural critic might have a point. But I'm glad that that's been your experience, and I'm going to say that that has validity for me. So thank you, Stan.
I suspect the difference is more religion, politics bouncing around.
There's a lot of concern, on the internet too about what's happened in Europe with Somali moving in and taking over areas and stuff. And, that might be feeding some of the stuff you're hearing.
Yeah.
Well,
my inclination is to not be concerned about such things, but there's a lot of information out there that says I should be. But
there is definitely a difference in the way my wife is in a nursing home now, Bob, and she's got a mixed bag of people that help her, the aides and everything, and the Somali people just do not connect with her at all. They have no interest. Now everybody else calls her by her name and does little things for her, but Somali people do not seem to do that. So I've heard, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that a lot of the Somali people that are here are the better well-to-do people that lived in Somali, and they were treated like a higher class, and so when they come here, they expect to be treated the same way. And that's not too much our way of doing things. So that I think that could feed into it too. My sister-in-law had a nurse, Somali, and she was just really almost mean to my sister-in-law because she just she didn't have any bedside manner or anything. So it does seem to be something a little different in their culture.
Well, one of the problems with this is one of the concerns anyway, is that they reproduce at a much higher level than we do.
Yep.
And this is not going to make a big difference for me because my time is somewhat limited. But it will make a difference a generation or two generations down the line if we keep having 1.5 children per couple and they keep having 6. So
I think we're below 1 now, aren't we?
In Minnesota it appears we're 1.5.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's the Lutherans, I'm pretty sure. Well, I think
well,
are we ready? No, we're not ready to go yet.
Well,
No.
you have videos that need to be
no videos.
Oh, okay.
It's me. It's a spreadsheet I did, and it's actually having a conversation. So
can you try to show the spreadsheet, because
Yeah.
right now you're not showing anything.
Okay, let's see if I can. Okay.
Yeah, please.
Well, can I get something in your response to reproduction rates?
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Nope.
No, okay, because I have to do something with regards to Zoom. I have this up, but I don't.
You go to
Okay,
the share icon on the bottom. Usually it's on the bottom.
okay,
And then it will open up the various screens that you have, and
uh-huh.
find that screen and click on it.
Okay, share, not Sunny. Okay, can you guys see this?
Uh,
Yep.
Yes,
Okay, how much of it can you see?
1 through
All of
12.
it.
1 through
You,
12.
Yep.
you can see it fairly well then.
yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so I just oh, I hate that. Okay, wait a second. I now just blocked out my being able to see it. There it is. Okay. Can you guys still see it?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And
Yeah, I
let's
had to adjust mine to full screen before I could see anything but a postage stamp.
so it's not a full screen right now?
It
It,
is now, yes.
No,
it
it
is.
is full screen.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now, how do I get rid of wait, this thing at the bottom? I want to
What, sheet one, level one, foundational, that one?
yeah, how do I get down there? I'm not seeing it on my screen.
Okay, if you were me, you would get into the middle of the screen,
Yeah.
click on it, and then
There it is. Okay.
it's not happening.
Okay. So this,
Okay, that should scroll you down.
yeah,
If me.
it did.
Okay, no,
So I have to make it just a little.
I did not see it scroll down to your next screen.
Yeah, it's not good for me. All right, I'm getting there though, guys.
Could I just say
Sure,
something
sure.
in response to your quip about if they keep reproducing at 6 per, and we keep, it doesn't happen that way.
Right. I know.
When a minority culture that is big on reproduction moves to a majority culture that is not big on reproduction, all of the things that are pushing the culture in the direction of not as many kids apply to the Somalis.
Mm-hmm.
And, so in the next generation of Somalis here, they'll have 3 children. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Mhm.
they'll catch our lack of
They will
capacity.
catch, yes, the cultural forces that
Okay.
are pushing us in the direction of fewer children.
Okay. All right. So is it now 9 o'clock? I mean 10 o'clock yet?
Almost, but two
Almost
minutes.
close. It's funny. I was watching something on very much what apparently we're going to be talking about, but how, yeah, well, when people come out of poverty and they go to a wealthier country, their birth rate tends to go down, period.
So
So
I did this analysis using my friend called Gemini. Okay. So I asked Gemini how many Somalians live in Minnesota? What is the percentage? What is their reproduction rate? And how does it compare to the average Minnesotan? And it gave me that information. It's about 1.8%. And it is, they have 6 children compared to 1.5. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So I said, well, how many Hasidic Jews are there in Minnesota? and what is their reproduction rate? There are 0.3% Hasidic Jews in Minnesota, but the reproduction rate is 4 to 5 times what the average reproduction rate is, and they didn't move here into a less wealthy culture because, on average, they're extremely wealthy. Wealthier than the average American for sure. They have to be, I suppose, if they're going to have 6 to 8 children. But it just strikes me that it's going to cause cultural mischief within our nation and within our society if a small sect that is so isolated and feels that they have such a strong handle on God's will becomes more and more populous, as well as richer and richer. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I know some Hasidic Jews, but not a lot of them. They don't consider that I'm Jewish for the most part. So I don't know what they think I am. But I'm paying dues, so you would think I would be Jewish. But that's what they think. They're mostly over in Highland Park in St. Paul.
Maybe they heard about that 1% Somali.
And they're trying
actually,
trying to counteract, possibly.
the Hasidic Jews who moved to Highland Park
Yes.
were actually the result of a Russian. No, back when it was
They originally came from Russia. They're originally Ashkenazi Jews. Yes.
Okay, back when the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR or CCCP or whatever they were calling themselves. And this was within historical times. This was way after World War II. But it was after World War II and prior to the breakup of the Soviet Union.
1992.
Okay, great. And the Russians,
34 years ago.
The Soviets instituted a policy of letting all the Jews leave the country freely if they wanted to. And this had never been the case before. And all of a sudden you had this incredible migration of this particular type of Ashkenazi Jew from those who were in the Soviet Union, had an incredible migration to the United States because they lived under very difficult circumstances. The Russians didn't really like them and didn't want them staying there.
That's true.
And that is what produced, I mean, literally all the Jews I am living amongst in Highland Park.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would be the story of my family. We came from Lithuania and Russia, emigrated to Romania, and from Romania emigrated to Minneapolis because there were other family here, and it's not an unusual story. But that was in the late 1800s.
Oh,
so,
no, I am talking about.
But the story's the same, but it's just a different batch of Jews that came over.
Yeah,
100 years later.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But now, when you're talking about the Somalis, These people are not sticking to their own tiny, hermetically sealed culture. I mean, if the woman's a nurse, A, she's learned decent English, and B, she is not all the time within the boundaries of her small community.
But if we're speaking about if we're speaking about an implication wheel, and this what I have for you today is not really a wheel, but it's a way of dealing with implications. I'm not Joel Barker. I don't understand how to use the implication wheel technically, and just screwing around with it a little bit for this presentation, I can understand that it can become very, very complex. But you could say to yourself, well, if Somalians in Minnesota are 1.8% of the population, and they are,
Wow.
and they, okay. So if that's good, if that is the case, it appears to be the case, and if they are now replicating themselves at a rate that's 3 times the average Minnesotan, you could then say to yourself, what are the implications of that demographically? What you're saying about the fact that they may mitigate their procreation proclivity it may be true going forward, it may not be true going forward. But what the purpose of this presentation is to get people kind of inured in how to use a particular way of thinking that deals with how do you take a small group of people, poll them on a particular situation in terms of the positive or negative implications that they think that might have, and how likely or unlikely is it to occur, and then go from level to level to level to level. So you could start with something as simple as there's a tree in my front yard that has a limb that overlooks my driveway, and the tree has been here longer than we've lived here, and that's 35 years. So should I get it cut, or should I not get it cut? What is the implication of this? What is the implication of that? And if I do get it cut, what is the implication of that? And you just keep going down and down and down and down different levels if you possibly can. And if you think about the kinds of issues I've laid out here, but other kinds of what?
Stan, can you mute Ron?
That works for me. Who is that?
I believe that's Ron Payne. Ron, if you would silence your microphone.
And Ronnie's showing up in 2 different places.
Zoom does that.
Yeah, the host can mute and then ask to unmute when the situation.
I muted him.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
So this was presented to us by Joel Barker a couple of years ago. I might be a decade ago. I don't remember anymore. But it was presented us as something that dealt with business decisions. So you get a board of directors or a bunch of managers in a business that's thinking about a move one way or the other. It might be, should we merge with this company? Should we buy with this company? Should we change our marketing approach? Whatever it is, and then lay out the different implications for the different types of decisions, and then go the next level and the next level and the next level. It can be very complex, but I'm just trying to get us to think in this way. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions about that? Would like to ask any further questions about what I'm trying to accomplish here in having us talk about using a multi-level layers of implications to get further down the rabbit hole
Right.
of the future, of the possible future. Anyway,
And what I was suggesting is that in order to properly explicate what's going on, in the case of the Somalis, you only really have to look 2 generations ahead to predict properly.
so you think
Whereas,
you think it's likely that that 2 generations from now, that the 3-to-1 replication figure will be more 1-to-1.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
but in the case of your Ashkenazi Jews,
Mm-hmm.
by and large, the ones that we have here tended to be the Hasidic Jews and
Yeah, I'm talking about the Hasidic
the
Jews.
extremely ultra-Orthodox Jews.
Yes.
Okay, for them, you don't even need to go 1 generation down to see what's going on, because they have isolated themselves from the culture,
That they have isolated
as
themselves.
opposed to the Somalis who are getting into the culture, becoming nurses, learning English, etc.
Assimilating.
Assimilating. So you,
To some extent.
Um,
So it's not just looking at 2 isolated instances and saying, gee, here's the numbers.
yeah, those numbers never work out exactly as they
And I'm
seem.
saying there are reasons they never work out.
mhm.
And one of the reasons is how exposed the minority culture is to the majority culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this
It's
just a
often-
dialogue between Carol and Bob, this whole meeting, or is nobody's calling on anybody else? Or?
Oh, okay. Should I? Okay. I think we go to David and then to Eric.
Okay.
We've gone past what my comment was, but often it's a factor of how the economic opportunities open up for the people involved. It usually is more open to the women to choose how many children they will have. The men get a say, but not so much of one. And so the economic opportunities to the women, for the women, is often a factor in how many children she will want to have. There's also a significant difference between urban and rural environments, which is to say, in rural areas, children are free labor on a farm. Whereas in the city, they're an extra cost. And it's significant cost to raise a child in the United States these days.
Okay. Thank you, David. Eric.
There's so many things I've gone through, but yeah, I talked about, well, the Jews coming here, and when comparing the Haredim to Somalis, it's just so off the
Louder,
wall.
Eric, please.
Yeah, Eric, be a
It's
little
just-
louder for us. I can hardly hear you.
Oh, I'll see. How can I make it? Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
okay. Speak slower and louder.
It's just totally off the wall to try to compare Haredim to Somalis. You know, if any familiarity with the Holy Book, I'm not very familiar with the Jewish writings, but I know they don't order it. Their holy writings do not order them to go into the foreign lands and convert or conquer them, and by every means available, and to outbreed the infidels as one of the tactics, which is they're repeatedly reminded to do this in their mosques by that the Saudis are paying to proliferate like mushrooms all over America and to exploit all of the tolerant and freedom that we have here, naively not designed at all to deal with a culture like theirs, which is basically designed to is motivation.
So Eric, in your mind's eye, if you look forward one generation or two generations for your children and your grandchildren, what is the possible implication given that point of view?
Well, we don't have to look too far ahead, do we? Look at the just massive, 9 billion or so is estimated, that just massive repeated exposés of the massive corruption that the Somali voting bloc, in collaboration with the local DFL leadership, is inflicted on us already. 9
You
billion.
see, that's just, I understand that you're making complaints, okay? I want to talk about the implications for the future. We
Well,
know
does that have
what your
any implication for the
we know
future
what
if
your
these
point is.
same
We know.
people are breeding
Wait,
voting bloc
let
and
me
breeding
finish.
mixed
Stop.
I mean,
We know what your point of view is.
Stand
That's it.
silence,
Eric!
Eric, please.
We know what your point of view is. We want to know what you think the implications are going to be for the future.
It's insulting to have to explicate it if they're breeding
Eric,
6 to 1.
Either you participate in the discussion
I'm
or
trying
you
to,
don't.
but I need some, think.
Okay, stop a second. What's the most important point that you're trying to make?
Well,
That the religion that they're part of has fixed rules and they seem to apply it rather extensively. Would that be a correct summary?
one small part of it, yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of what we can expect from this dissident group in our multicultural society, they would like to have more power than less, and more people gives them more power.
Exactly.
Would that be correct?
Exactly, which is, of course,
Thank
not
you.
escaped the notice of the DFL, which is why they're importing all they possibly can.
Excuse me, there are multiple reasons why they might want to import immigrants. This country is based on immigrants. We basically took it away from the Indians by multiplying many times our population versus their population and favoring the populations. Would that be
by being
Okay,
agriculturalists
okay, we're gonna go.
confronting
We're now gonna
What does
stop
the
and go to
Indians
Tom,
got to
and then
do
we'll
with
go to D.
with the Somalis and
Eric,
what they're doing?
you're done now. We're gonna go to Tom.
Dan, take control of the meeting, please.
Okay. If I had first put my hand up to talk very briefly about Fiddler on the Roof.
Okay, yeah, great film,
but
great play,
and this was kind of a reverse of that, where the Jews were voluntarily leaving the Soviet Union to come to the United States and the rest of Europe, for that matter. Islam has a problem with other cultures. And I'm not sure it's aware of this. There's a thing called soft Islam.
Soft Islam, okay.
Soft, S-O-F-T, like a cushion.
Yeah, soft Islam, yeah.
And some people think this is an adaptation of Islam to be, I don't want to say American, but leaving behind the strict regulations of hard Islam. Others think that it's a trick. If you accept us as soft Islam, then we'll become hard Islam and you won't be able to do anything about it. Oh, can people be this sophisticated and complicated and scary? Yes. People were, to a certain extent, afraid of the Jews when the United States started. There were people who were terrified that there would be some kind of a Jewish takeover of the federal government. No, it didn't happen. Probably couldn't have happened. But that didn't mean people weren't afraid of it.
Yeah.
And there are parts of Islam that I think should have been left back in the 700 ADs. But there are people who were there then who survived to propagate their extreme version, and we see echoes of this in the current militant Islam's running Iraq, for example, and to a certain extent some other countries, but that's beside the point. This is a problem that we have to deal with.
Okay, we're going to take one more. I got to cut you off. We're going to take.
Thank you.
We're going to take one more person. That'll be Dean, and then we're going to go on to something else.
Yeah, real quick. And by the way, real quick, you're hitting a nerve here, because we just had that attack that could have been horrible on the Islamic Center, and San Diego is reeling from that still. But we talk about Islam as though it were monolithic. Well, look again, Sunni and Shia. All right, let's move on, Bob.
Yeah, we're going to move on. I've just learned something interesting about trying to do this. If you are going to try to use the implications wheel on a particular subject, the small group of people have to agree to what the beginning stance is. What is the reality right now? And with regards to this particular issue, I don't think we agree on it. And so that's what I've learned. You got to be careful what you're using the implications wheel on, because how one person sees the reality of Muslims or Somalians in our society and how other people see it is different. Okay, so we're going to go on to another thing. Okay,
could we just say it's complicated?
Well, yeah, it's complicated, but if it becomes so let's say, what am I looking for?
Well,
disruptive.
Yes.
You can't really get to talking about the implications. It's kind of not a subject for the implications wheel. Okay, I'm just gonna read through these, okay? And what I want you to do is I want you guys to choose one, okay? So my favorite is if ASI is achieved, and I assume you guys know what I'm talking about, along with robust robotics, what are the possible implications? This is something that fascinates me, but may not fascinate others. Okay. 2, America's raised its defense budget by 50%. But it's not allocating very much to doing research for new antibiotics and preparing for next pandemic. What are the possible implications? America allowed the Mexican border to be relatively open. Now it's virtually closed. In addition, fewer people from around the world are seeking to immigrate here. What are the possible implications? What are the possible implications if humans gain the ability to live for centuries? By the way, you can come up with hundreds of these. In virtually all developed and most developed countries, economies, the reproduction rate is well below replacement level and falling. What are the possible implications if this continues? Okay, here's an interesting one. Ultra-Orthodox Jews who believe God gave Israel to them are 10% of the voting bloc in Israel, but their reproduction rate is 3 times the rest of the voting population. What are the possible implications if this trend continues? Another one is today political polarization in America is wider than it's been since the Civil War. What are the possible implications? This is an interesting one to me. Christian nationalists or sympathizers make up 32% of the American electorate, and they're reproducing at a rate that's 50% higher than the rest of us. What is the possible implications if this trend continues? Okay, so let's take this one. To really do this one, you have to really do some work to understand what Christian nationalism is and what they believe, and there has to be some kind of acceptance by the group, at least in general principles, of what a Christian nationalist is. Okay, another one is the federal gross national debt is $39 trillion. It's growing at $2 trillion, or about 6% per year. It's expected to grow to $50 trillion in about 4 or 5 years. What are the possible implications? Okay, another one, the last few decades have seen increasing capture of our citizenry for their attention through social media and AI and the AI revolution. What are the possible implications? After World War II, America adopted a policy of opening up international trade, policing the seas, and acting as a global police when there's disturbances. We are falling away from those commitments. What are the possible implications? To do this correctly, we'd have to agree that we're falling away from those commitments. We may not have agreement on that. Number 12, the Gini Corporation coefficient, which is not named after the character Genie from what was the name of the TV show?
I dream of Jeannie.
of
I
Jeannie.
dream of Genie.
Yes,
I
it's
dream
not.
of Genie, and I
it's
still
not-
do on rare occasions.
It's not that Gini, okay? The Gini coefficient, which measures wealth inequality in America, is approaching 0.5. It's never been higher, and it's risen significantly over the last few decades. What are the possible implications of this trend? That's a good one, by the way, because what I've said to you is pretty much factual. So what are the implications? So I'd like to poll you. Why don't you guys think about it for a second and read it over and give me your number one choice for what you'd like to talk about.
Okay, do you have somewhere this on paper that I can look at? Do you have a scroll you can do?
Do you have to scroll this? It should show on one. It
Okay,
should show,
I'm still looking at your original thing.
it should show on one screen.
Carol, you should be able to set up your view menu to make it
What
the whole
menu?
top right corner on Zoom. There's a view menu drop down that should give you choices. I believe you can do side-by-side speaker, side-by-side gallery.
Okay, home, insert, draw.
If you go to standard, should be the top menu choice. It will blow this particular shared screen up to fill your window.
Maybe minus the sidebar, but yeah. And by the way, Carol, I just simply zoom in to the column that he's in and read it so that I can read it without finding my reading glasses.
Okay, do you have a slide that you could put up that shows these choices?
No, I don't. This is what I have. It's supposed to act as a slide. I've just been involved in too many things
What
to
do you
try to.
mean by this is what you have? I am still looking at your original slide.
Yes.
Huh.
Maybe I'm not understanding, Carol. What I'm seeing is all 12 of them on the screen.
Yes. Now, you have changed from this to, I want you guys to pick one of these scenarios to.
Yeah, just what would be your favorite?
Okay.
Yeah.
I want someplace to look at so that I can review those, which is your favorite.
Well, they're all there, 12. There's 12 of them on the screen, Carol. There's red.
It's multiple choice test, Carol,
It's red,
Really
black,
easy.
red, black, red, black, red, black.
which is really great. Makes the reading of it
Well,
very easy.
It should
may
help.
be.
Okay,
may
never
be-
mind. I've got it. I
Okay.
was mistaking this for your original slide. Okay, I can find what I'm looking for here. Thank you.
And I did absolutely nothing. And I want you guys to know that when it comes to doing nothing, I'll take a back seat to no one. So I'm glad it was I was able to accomplish this for you. So, Stan, do you have one that you would pick?
Well, I think I'm gonna stick with my favorite, which is the income separation between the wealthy and between the late labor and the wealthy.
The Gini coefficient. Okay.
Uh,
Dean, do you have one?
Well, yeah. Of course, that one's always lurking in the background. But the one that popped out, maybe because it was red, was the Christian nationalists 32%, which I just recently saw that number. But I didn't know about the birthright thing, but I could have guessed. Yeah, that one kind of concerns me too.
Oh, okay. Warren?
Well, I like the Gini coefficient.
Okay. Tom?
11. After World War II,
Okay.
opening up world trade, then we seem to, we're not going to do that.
Okay. So 11 for you. Okay. David?
World population, but maybe it would help if we did top 3 and see if there are any.
No, we
Since we're
just
all over the map, it seems like.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, voter rank order, whatever they call that, like in primaries. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Carol, do you have one?
Yeah, I'm going to take number 6.
Number 6, ultra-Orthodox Jews.
Yep.
Thank you, Carol. Eric, do you have one?
I'd say you have to pick one that the people have enough, the most basic literacy about to begin with. Obviously not Islam, but I don't know, implications of living for centuries.
Okay, thank you. All right. So, Doug, do you have one?
Yeah, I like number 12.
All right. Well, 12 got 3 votes. We're going for 12. Okay. All right. All right. Why are you doing? Okay. That's no good. I want to see.
Sure.
Warren, would you mute your mic, please?
Why is this not working for me? I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to go. Oh, I see. That's not what I want. Son of a gun. I'll get this, I'm sure. I want to go to the tab that says foundation. Where is that tab?
You might just be able to click the right. I have an Apple and so I've got arrows. Maybe it will move over.
Oh, I see.
arrow.
I see what you're saying. Maybe. So go like this. Get rid of
Yeah, Zoom is always in the way.
how do I get rid of this? How do I get rid of the menu that's at the bottom saying share, chat, react? How do I get rid of that?
Get your cursor off of it for a moment, and it
Okay.
should disappear after a few seconds.
Okay.
And then as soon as you go down there, it might show up again, but try to.
Yeah, you bastard, you're right.
Yeah, I pay for Zoom, and I've got Zoom stock. But they're always doing this stuff to me.
I can't get it, and I want to get it, so
If you stop sharing, does that help?
maybe stop sharing. Yeah. All right. Share. Okay, because I'm in. Why can't I go to found? You guys see where it says foundational there?
No.
Yes.
You don't. Yeah. Why can't I go there?
Yeah, I see it. It's just out of view from some people.
Yeah, I see it.
If other people move their cursor, you can drag the screen, and then you'll see it.
Turds. Sorry.
Okay, so think about this. Okay, so I've got this screen in here. Okay, I want to go to a different tab within Excel called foundational. Okay, and it's not letting me do it. Why would that be? I think I'll stop sharing, and then I'll try to come back. Okay.
Good.
Okay, so share. How do I stop sharing? Okay. All right, so I want to go here. All right, I'm going to go over here and go over here. Okay. And now I'm going to go back to Zoom.
You're actually sharing those now.
Okay. Do you see?
Yep.
You see a different screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Level 1 and
yeah. Son of a bitch. Okay. All right. Where was the Gini coefficient? Here we are. All right. So our level 1 is paste. Okay. So we've chosen a level 1. We're going to be dealing with the implications of this Gini coefficient, which is now the highest it's ever been and is getting higher. So now it's up to you guys. What do you think some of the implications of this are? Anybody have any ideas for an implication going forward? Anything?
I think one thing is, what it reflects is the overall wealth of the country is growing.
So are you saying that the overall wealth of the country will continue to grow?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if everyone at the bottom, let's just put it that way, stays the same, and then there are not billionaires but trillionaires, then the Gini number goes up.
But the overall wealth will also go up.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It's not declining. They're either staying the same or they're increasing.
Are we doing hands or free for all? Because
I can't see your hands.
The host could call on people. Stan, you had your hand up.
Sounds good.
Okay, Stan?
Well, last couple of days, couple of weeks ago, I showed a Nick Hanauer video, and Nick Hanauer is very big on
Yes.
minimum wage and how it's not done as well as productivity. That the results of increased productivity hasn't circled back to the worker. It's been absorbed by the upper classes. And that's being done in even more extreme. If you see the graphs where people's the incomes start to branch up
Mhm.
towards the wealthy versus the people on the bottom,
Mhm.
and that's getting gross. It's getting obscene.
So would your implication be that that the Gini coefficient will continue to rise?
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
there needs to be a way of reining in the the wealthy are more of a problem than we're always being told that the problem is poor people. The problem is wealthy people. And they,
So regardless of what the problem is, what do you think the implications are?
okay, I don't know what you mean by
What
implication.
are the direct results of this significant and growing disparity in economic benefit in our country? Would that be a reasonable way to summarize it, Bob?
Yes, I like it very much.
Right on.
Now,
Mhm.
there are obviously three possibilities.
But let's go to Stan first, okay? Stan,
Well,
given that,
I can tell you what. I'm from Iowa, and Chuck Grassley used to say, "You give poor people money, and they'll buy booze with it. They'll buy things that they don't need, and the things that are in quotes evil, and they don't know how to manage their money. They don't know how to spend their money." And I think that that's a very closed-minded, old-fashioned view of success and view of money. And I think that the bottom line is that people do understand how to spend their money wisely, how to take care of their families. There just isn't enough of it to go around. And there's this idea that if you increase the wages of people, working people, that jobs will go away, and that you can't have good, large, full employment, and also giving people a livable working wage. And this is not something I'm an expert on. I'm more or less parroting what I've been told, but I don't think the numbers really show that there's been a real attempt to show to provide minimum wage that it gives people a successfully living wage. I don't think that that's been empirically proven to be wrong, that it's going to take away jobs.
okay, I'm going to write here, possible that if minimum wage rises, it will not take away jobs. I actually did that without making any mistakes.
And it will tend to reduce the Gini coefficient, the extreme difference between the rich and the poor.
If it doesn't take away jobs, yes. Okay, so we were going, who is next? I forgot.
I am next.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, when we say somebody said, "Oh, that's because the country's getting wealthier," so then it becomes almost, well, socioeconomic, philosophical. Define wealth. Wealth that is not somewhat equitably distributed doesn't, that only benefits 1 or 2% of the population. Well, that's great for them, and our numbers look good on paper, and we would buy the stock, but that doesn't mean that that is a healthy, and my implication is possible, economic warfare with
Okay. What is it?
conflict and political
Possible
division and political division.
possible economic warfare and further political polarization. Is that correct? Even close? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David's up next.
Thank God for Grammarly. Okay. Who's next?
I am, and I think there are three possibilities. The
Okay.
Gini coefficient can continue to get worse.
Okay.
It can stay the same,
Gini
or it can
rises.
be reduced.
Gini rises. Gini stable.
And while you're typing, I see no evidence that the Gini is hit a top.
No, it's continuing to rise.
Okay. That's okay. Anybody else?
If I could go a little further with that, the
You might as well. Sure.
implication
Yeah.
are that political polarization continues to get worse with the increasing difference between the rich and the poor.
We've got that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doug,
Doug is next.
Who's next?
I am Doug.
Okay. Oh, hi, Doug.
And I don't know if it follows the same one that's already stated, but I can just see major social unrest
Okay.
and isolation of the upper class from the lower class, and whether it's in living or homes, everything. It's just, it seems like it's already starting to happen.
Versailles.
You're talking about France during the revolution.
French Revolution.
So here's what I wrote: a major social unrest and further isolation of the masses from the ultra wealthy. Fair?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds right.
Anybody else?
Tom and then Eric.
Tom and Eric.
Okay.
And then Carol.
And Carol.
Part of the problem is that the difference has become so large that I think it's unsolvable. The increase in, I'm not wealthy, but by any means, I know wealthy people. No, I'm not within 1% of them. But even so, the increase in my very poor savings account is more than if I worked full time at minimum wage.
So what are the implications?
The implication is that we're going to become, at best, a three-tiered society. There are going to be the ultra wealthy, whose activities we get to watch on YouTube all the time. The ultra poor, who we get to watch on the news when they have riots. And there's going to be a small middle class trying to avoid falling into one and attempting to rise into the other.
What do you think's going
And
to
this
happen?
is not,
What do you think's going to happen to social mobility, economic and social mobility?
what's that?
Going from being
No, I was being sarcastic. There
oh,
won't be any.
okay.
Um, oh God, what's the name? There was a Mark Twain novel about this, or this kid is suddenly made poor, and he wanders around in the West.
The Prince,
I forget.
and the Pauper, the Prince and the Pauper.
Yep,
Or
that's it.
yep,
Yeah,
great book.
this has always been a threat to society, but we've made it much larger. Well, maybe not. I mean, Roman emperor versus slave. It's always been there, and I don't think we can solve it. What we can try and do is smooth over some of the bumps, especially for the people on the bottom, and try and instituting self-restraint on somebody else, on the wealthy, to tell them to stop acting like they're ultra wealthy, at least in public. I'm sorry. It's very upsetting to
You
me.
don't have to be sorry. That's good. Well, I like it. I like it when you're sorry anyway, but you don't really need to be. Any others?
Eric's up next.
Well, I
What?
don't know how many things I can say, but well, for starters, of course, it's going to increase because of the increasing knowledge and are just
Okay,
available.
we have it's going to increase already on there.
Yeah, and as Barron's pointed out, these are tools that the more intelligent and aggressive people who assume everybody's basically selfish, regardless of what they all the parties claim to be the opposite, but they are. I know it at the top, especially the ones that tend to get to the top. And these are all the knowledge and power and computers and AI are just levers that give them more power, and they can exploit because of their intelligence and money and education and knowledge and networking. They're much are able to exploit than the poor and the stupid and ignorant. And of course it will increase. The difference throughout history, though, if you look at history, like pharaohs or something, or the medieval kings, they always needed vast majorities of lower peasants and so on to each produce a tiny amount of incremental disposable income that they could take to maintain their style. But now these will be increasingly less needed as AI and robotics and so on reduce the need for low-end workers. We see it already. It's already starting. Like it's the low-end ones that are getting fired out, even with low-end programmers.
So I don't see an I don't see it. I don't see an implication there. I see a description.
I would say the power and control, and also knowledge of marketing and psychology and how to manipulate so-called voters. They're just reacting to Pavlovian conditioning, basically, and from various factions. And it's a struggle among the various ruling factions. Of course, within the ruling ones, the rich and elite, they're each fighting each other. Little factions are forming and breaking up, but they're fighting each other and using the so-called what's left of so-called democracy to each increase their own power. But their means of surveillance and control are increasing also. Look at China and Europe too. There's cameras everywhere, every block, with facial recognition, which Google was happy. They won't work for the U.S. military, but they were happy to collaborate with the CCP to help them surveil all Chinese all of the time.
Okay, so I have one, which is I think it's possible that cults, extreme ideologies, and religion and extreme religions will proliferate. So I'm going to put that down.
Well,
this is not for you to say yes, no. We're just putting down ideas for implications. Okay. Cults.
You don't have veto power on these ideas, Eric.
Right.
It's the Security Council.
There are certain observable facts. If you want to study history,
No,
or
no, no,
nature,
no, no. Oh, God.
Brainstorming
you have
goes
to
through a
start with observable
process.
fact. You know,
Eric,
huh? You don't want to do it that way.
with
I give up.
brainstorming, one of the techniques is just to put the ideas on the board. Then we'll talk about implications of those implications after we get them up.
Okay. Any others?
Carol's up next.
Carol.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Good. When you were talking about this G factor, no, this Gemini factor.
Genie. I agree.
Genie.
Genie.
Okay. Whether this is a good or a bad thing, et cetera, is enormously dependent on what the individual ultra wealthy are using their money for. In other words,
So what do you think? What do you think they're going to use their money for
in other
going forward?
words, is not the end of a sentence.
Oh, okay.
In other words, they could be doing the equivalent of converting it all to gold bars and burying it in the backyard. That doesn't help anybody. They could engage in lavish spending, ballrooms for the White House, yachts, multiple yachts, the whole sort of lavish spending. Or the one time when you have one of or some of the ultra rich actually doing an enormous amount of good. Bill Gates was one example.
Oh, God.
And shut up, Eric.
Oh, shut up. I mean, stop babbling.
And is not the end of a sentence.
Stop.
Well,
Dan, take control of the meeting. Mute it when it's his turn. Mute him until it's his turn. Please.
Okay. And it may, looking at how things have gone out, it may turn out to be that this was mostly Melinda Gates, but they were enormously instrumental in doing fantastic good for public health, for countries that were in real trouble about public health.
So let me ask you just a quick question, okay?
Yes.
As if the Gini coefficient is the same or does get larger, do you think the ultra wealthy will increasingly use their wealth to benefit all of society?
Okay, I think that is an extremely individual thing. But we do have, I think, two examples of what the Gateses did for public health in Africa mostly was just an enormous good to the whole human race. The other case of this, and I know everybody hates him now, and I agree with them on hating him now, but Elon Musk did two things that were to the enormous benefit of this country, and in some cases, the human race. The first one was coming up with the whole Tesla thing and not claiming any patents on in other words, the whole battery technology, the whole
electric vehicle
technology was not patented. It was all free for people to grab those ideas and use them to become competitors of Tesla. The other thing that he did that nobody seems to appreciate is the fact that he literally created a launch capability for this country when NASA couldn't. If it had not been for Mr. Musk and his SpaceX program, we would have been cut off from all the research that was done on the International Space Station. We would have been cut off from all of the, sending a rocket to the moon finally. There was a time there, and I think we're still on the verge of that, when Elon Musk was the only thing that stood between this country and total loss of launch power. And
Okay, so thank you, Carol. Do we have any other implications before we start dealing with these?
David has his hand up.
David?
Sorry, I've forgotten now what it was.
Oh, that's good to know. I feel comfortable with that. Okay.
But still remember mine. Do you want to come back to you? Just real quick historical. We act as though Genie is something new. I'm a bit of a historian, so I go back through my father and grandfather to the Great Depression, but I remember the 50s very, very well. And the simplest measure of the Genie is to look at the ratio of CEO wage salary to average wage of employees. And that has hockey sticked almost since the 50s, 60s, 70s, the Reagan era, et cetera, et cetera.
Indeed it has. Okay, David, did you remember?
Yeah, actually, it seems like there's a pendulum, and it actually depends on government taxation is a form of redistribution to minimize or reduce the Gini coefficient.
So the implication would be government will swing tax rates up and down for the wealthy in dealing with this
economic
situation.
redistribution.
Government will swing tax rates up and down for the wealthy in dealing with this situation.
Just up.
What?
Just up, not down.
Okay. There will swing tax rates
Depends
up.
on the government, yeah.
Well, but to reduce the Gini coefficient.
Yep. Eric wants to talk about the DFL and Somalis some more, so.
No.
Yeah.
Eric.
Okay, we'll just deal with these. We'll leave these. We got more than enough, okay? Remember, we're not really trying, we're trying to learn how to use this puppy. Okay, so let me show you something. So we don't have Tom here, right? So who's here today? Carol, David, Stan, Tom T, Doug, Tom, Eric,
Warren Poole.
Warren Poole. Okay.
Dean Petty.
Who?
Dean Petty.
Dean.
I don't see Warren on my screen. I got to scroll. Oh, we got a full house there.
Okay. So here's how the implication wheel deals with each one of these, okay? You look at, okay, the overall economic growth will continue to grow. A good use of that word twice in one sentence. Okay. How impactful would that be if it does take place? Would that be very negative, neutral, positive, very positive? How likely is that to occur? Highly unlikely, unlikely, neutral, likely, highly likely. Okay. So what the reason that this is really a good tool is that one person might have an opinion on this, and it might be right and it might be wrong. But if you have 5 or 6 people and they have different points of view, they'll rate the impactfulness and the likelihood of each one of these differently, and you'll have a better answer as a result of that. What?
Crowdsourcing?
Say it again.
Crowd sourcing.
Crowdsourcing, yes, it would be mini crowdsourcing. I think it's not that you couldn't do this for millions of people, but it's used for small groups. Okay, and we're a small group. I don't know if you know that. Okay. So, the first one is the overall economic growth will continue to I'll say increase.
And that's the Gini.
Yes. Well, no.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
If the Gini goes up, then
Yes,
the
you're
overall,
talking
yeah.
about the Gini, not
Yes,
just
right.
overall economic
right.
growth.
Okay. So, Carol, do you think that would be negative, highly negative, negative, neutral on it, positive,
Yeah,
or
I'm
highly
good on a 2. It's negative.
two? Okay. Next would be David,
Negative.
just negative. Okay. Stan,
Negative.
Doug,
Negative.
Tom T.
A, sleepyhead.
I think it could be positive.
Okay, that's 4. Okay. Eric,
which one are you on?
the overall economic growth, if the Gini coefficient is the same or rises, the overall economic growth will continue to
Sure,
increase.
overall, sure, they'll keep.
Okay.
increasing.
Is that okay? So do you think if that happens, do you think that's highly negative, neutral, positive, or highly positive?
The growth will continue? Well, that's good.
It's good. So that's 4. Okay. I'm good. Okay. Warren,
Highly positive.
5. And Dean,
1.5 between highly negative and negative, very negative.
so you know what
I'll
1.5
just
means?
go with negative.
It means we all fly out to San Diego with machetes and cut you into little pieces.
There we go.
Choose one of them. Choose one, Dean.
All right, 2.
Okay.
I'm a consensus builder here.
Okay. So because of the incredible formula that I have put in here, the average is 2.8. Okay. So we go to a next one, which is, okay, so if the Gini coefficient is the same or rises, the overall economic growth will continue to increase. Is that highly unlikely, neutral, likely, or highly likely? And first, let me put everybody down here.
Your Excel skills excel, sorry.
Okay.
He's an accountant.
Okay, Carol.
Okay, read me the sentence again.
Okay. If the Gini coefficient is stable or increasing, the overall economic growth will continue to increase.
How likely?
That's almost an axiom.
How likely is it? How likely is it that the economic growth will continue to rise?
Okay, do you mean the Gini disparity will continue to rise?
No, I don't actually.
Okay.
So the Gini coefficient is the coefficient of disparity. But somebody said that if the disparity continues to increase, that it is likely that the overall growth of the economy will also increase. Do you think that's highly likely, unlikely,
Okay,
neutral?
so we're saying that if the Gini disparity increases, that's going to imply that the whole growth,
That the entire economy will grow.
yeah.
Highly likely, unlikely, highly unlikely, unlikely, neutral, likely, highly likely.
What's exactly medium?
That'd
Neutral.
be neutral.
Neutral.
3.
Three.
1 to
Three.
5, Carol.
Put me down as a 3.
Okay, David?
Neutral. The two are disconnected. They can go either way, the same way or different.
That's correct. Which one do you think? But this is saying which way it's going to go. It's going to go up.
I actually think if the Gini coefficient gets worse, the disparity increases,
Mhm.
the bottom will grow faster than the top, and
And
that the economy will shrink.
okay, so therefore you would vote highly unlikely or
Highly
unlikely?
unlikely.
Highly unlikely one. Not highly Selassie, but highly unlikely.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Stan?
And his son, somewhat Selassie.
One,
Stan?
one.
One. Okay.
You got to refresh my brain. I just took some pain meds. So we're saying, how likely is this to increase overall G whatever P?
Okay, so we're saying that the Gini coefficient has been rising lately. It's now at extreme levels. If that trend continues, is it likely that the overall economy will grow or shrink?
Shrink.
I would lean towards shrink, whatever number that is. Yeah.
So that would be, do you want highly unlikely or unlikely?
Unlikely is fine.
Fine. Next is Tom T.
That was Doug's
I
vote.
think
That was, who was
Yeah,
that?
sorry, I spoke out of turn. That
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It-
never
but-
happened.
but
That's never
I-
that's
happened.
a number for mine. It doesn't
But
matter.
unbelievable, that's the same number I was going to choose.
There you
Okay.
go.
Tom T.
uh I think it's become a false premise, so I'm not sure how to vote. 3.
Okay, why is it a false premise? That's what you would vote, 3.
I
But
don't-
why? Why do you think it's a
I
false
don't
premise?
think it's going to happen. I think we're measuring something that's not relevant anymore.
Okay, I'll
The
put
economy
3.
is the
That'd be
economy is
3.
Quick question,
the economy
what-
is just independent of this measurement
Quick,
tool.
quick
Okay,
question, Bob. What time frame are we talking? 5
Uh,
years or 50 years? Eh?
Well, I really I'm speaking about really probably 20 years, but it
Okay.
doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter.
Can I
what-
make
what-
the suggestion just to keep everybody on the same page?
Yes, Carol.
That we call them Gini and overall growth.
Say it again.
That we call these two factors, number one, Gini,
Mhm.
that is, the disparity is getting, if you say Gini is getting larger, you mean the disparity is getting larger. And growth, which means the whole economy is getting better, irrespective of how it's divided.
Yeah, yes, they are separate things.
Yes. So if we call them Gini and growth, we'll all know we're talking about the same thing.
Okay, let's call them Gini and growth. Eric?
Barring global disaster, the higher end will, get rid of the, the stupid, ignorant, and poor as they're redundant because of AI and robotics, and therefore, of course, the economy will continue to grow exponentially.
So that would be 5.
Yes.
Okay, Warren.
4, likely.
Okay, and Dean's already there, so that's 2.65. So now the overall average is 2.75. We don't really, as a group, have strong feelings about this one way or the other. And what if we were doing this in a real group for a long period of time, someone who's a leader would be more organized. But beyond that, you would be looking to find that those areas that you think are highly likely and either highly highly negative or highly positive. Does that make sense to you?
Yep.
We don't have strong views on this. They view to the slightly unlikely and slightly negative. We don't really have strong feelings about this particular one at all.
Well, we do. Our strong feeling is ambivalence.
Who's that?
Dean,
Dean, you're going to make me come out to San Diego. Okay. Possible that if minimum wages rise, minimum wages, it should say minimum wages. Okay. Wait. If Gini rises, it is possible that minimum wage will rise and jobs will be reduced. Now, I do understand that the opposite could be true. Okay.
you only have to look back to the Depression when the government created jobs for people.
Right.
Yep.
That's one way. Okay, but that's right. Okay, so now we're going to ask Carol. Do you think that if the Gini continues to rise, that that minimum wages, it's a minimum wages will rise and jobs will be reduced?
Unfortunately, I think that is true.
Okay, so positive or
I
highly?
mean, I think
Oh,
if
do you
the
think that?
minimum-
Do you think that would be positive or negative? First is positive and negative. Next comes likely.
I think that will be a
Viewpoint.
negative.
From
Okay,
his viewpoint.
negative or highly negative?
For whom? Negative for whom or
With the
positive?
wage earners.
For whom and by what measure?
Yeah.
This would be for the country.
What's
I'm
the
trying
country?
to think of it in terms of if the minimum wage goes up, McDonald's will automate to get rid of paying for the minimum wage workers.
Of course.
That is possible.
Of course.
Happens all the time.
That's what I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, therefore would that be negative or positive?
Again, from the standpoint of the workers?
For the overall country and
How do you measure overall country, by its survival against China or what?
oh God.
Well, no, you gotta think
It's not an unfair question.
Okay.
Negative for the highest number of people, or
Negative for the common good of our citizenry.
thank you, common good.
for the average citizen.
Negative or highly
Well,
negative,
negative
Carol?
for most of the population.
Eric,
call it a 2 if you're doing
two.
me.
Okay,
Yeah,
2.
all right.
David,
Negative.
negative 2. Stan,
Highly positive.
what? Stan?
Dan is gone.
Stands off at the moment.
Okay.
Warren had
says-
a comment.
Doug says 2.
Doug says 2.
Oh, you put a
Warren?
3%.
Tom,
Very negative.
very negative. 1. Eric,
Yeah, I'd say also very negative, whatever number that is.
okay. Warren,
Very positive.
okay. 5.
Oh,
Dean,
I was a 1.5, so I'm going to go with the 1.
1. Okay. Okay. Stan, did you come back? Okay, I'm leaving as neutral. Okay. Now we talk about likely. Okay.
I
How
should
like
speak for Stan.
how likely is it that if wages increase, minimum wage increases, that jobs will be reduced?
Okay, for me, that's very likely.
Okay, so that would be 5.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. David.
The numbers that I've seen suggest that it has not reduced the jobs, and so I would say 2, negative,
Okay.
unlikely.
Okay. Stan's not here. 3. Doug.
3.
Okay. Tom T.
Small increase will have no effect, so a 3.
Okay. Eric.
5. There will be a huge effect as
5.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
so.
Warren
5 as well.
and Dean.
I'll smooth the bell curve and say 4.
4. Okay. So here we have more of a subject to explore further, because we feel more negative about this than we did the last one, and we feel more likely that it's going to occur. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. What's the next one? Possible economic warfare and further political polarization. Okay.
OMG.
What?
OMG.
OMG.
Oh my God, that's a millennial thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Okay.
Also a New York Times crossword word.
Okay. So here we are. Carol, if we did have economic warfare and further political polarization, would that be highly negative or highly positive for you, or in between?
that would be negative.
Not highly negative?
Call it a 4.
No,
A 2.
No?
2.
Okay,
Okay.
call it a 2.
David?
1, not
Yeah.
highly negative.
Yeah.
Highly?
Stan not here. Doug?
I'm
2.
back.
2.
What? Stan, are you back?
Yeah.
Oh, hi. Okay, so we're at the place of if the Gini coefficient stays the same or rises, there's possible economic warfare and further political polarization. Okay, if that does occur, would that be highly positive or highly negative, in
That's
your
the one
opinion?
point.
2.
2. Okay. Okay, Doug.
Yeah. 2 also.
2. Okay.
2. 2, not 3.
Oh, I see. 2.
The other
Tom? What?
I think we're doomed to have both of those, so it's going to be a 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eric?
1.
Yeah.
But then when it's resolved, it could go
War-
positive.
Warren?
2.
Well, it could,
2 for me.
2. Dean?
1.
1. Okay, so here we have one that is so far the most negative of all the different implications that we've come up with. Okay, now how likely is it to happen? Carol?
Okay, which is the high likelihood?
High
What is
likely,
likely?
Five is high.
Is a,
5 is highly likely.
call it a 4.
A 4. Okay. David?
I'm going after more.
4.
4. Stan?
4.
Doug?
4.
Tom T?
4.
Really?
What is this? No, which one are you? What?
Eric?
Yeah, which proposition are you voting on now?
The implication that there'll be economic warfare and further political polarization.
Yeah, it's highly continue. It always has been.
So likely or highly likely?
Well, highly likely. It's
okay.
It has been. I know why I would say.
Warren?
4. Number 4, likely.
Dean?
I'm switching parties. 5.
Okay. So now here we have a particular implication that is by judgment of the group very quite negative, okay, but very likely. So this would be something we would focus on, okay?
Thank you.
We're not going to go to these 3 because they're we should go here. Major social unrest and further isolation of the masses. Okay, so we can do that. Okay. Okay, so the Gini coefficient is the same or rises slightly over time. Is that, and as a result, there's social unrest and isolation of the masses from the further isolation from the masses from the ultra wealthy. Would that be a positive or negative for you, Carol? Carol?
She's gone.
She
She's gone.
stepped away. She stepped away.
Oh, okay. David?
That'd be negative.
Negative. Stan?
1.
Yes, I agree. Stan, Doug?
2.
Tom T?
2.
Eric?
Highly negative. 1.
Warren?
A 3.
A 3. Neutral. Oops.
Mm.
Dean?
1.
1. So again, here we have something that's reasonably negative. Almost, it's on the cusp of being negative or a little bit more. Now it's how likely is that to take place, that there will be major social unrest and further isolation of the masses from the ultra wealthy? David?
I think pretty likely 4.
4. Stan?
4.
Doug?
4.
Tom T?
4.
Eric?
Say 4, whatever.
Warren?
Unlikely 2.
2. And Dean?
I thought we'd get unanimity, or unanimity. 4.
Okay.
Almost.
So here we have something again that is that's a negative, a little bit more than negative, and it is it's quite likely. Okay.
One of the benefits of this kind of a tool and having some diversity of opinion is often that they will go back and ask people who differed from a lot of the rest of the opinion why they rated it that way.
Yes, that'd be a good
And
thing.
so I would be curious if Warren would be willing to tell us why he
Okay.
thought that was unlikely.
I would love to hear that too.
Yeah.
Because
Thank you, David.
Because I believe everyone's wealth will increase, the Gini is it just shows that there's overall improvement in the economy. I don't believe that wealthy people are stealing from poor people, like some people do. But it's right. This is the kind of wealth that raises all boats. And so I don't really think that people are going to go crazy in the streets. Because they'll understand at some point that they have more wealth than anybody else on the planet.
Which, by the way, they do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, there are some places in Europe that are doing just great, but a lot of places aren't doing great at all. But our poor are wealthy compared to other poor people.
Yep.
It's good. It's economically, you won the raffle when you got born in America. There's no doubt.
No question about it.
Or managed to immigrate,
Okay.
as we all did.
It is best that there will be. I wonder what I was saying here. It is best that there will be ultra wealthy, the middle class, small, and poor. I don't even know what that means. Does anyone have an idea what I was trying to
You're
say?
talking about the three-tier system, right?
Yes.
Middle class, working class, upper class is the old.
And that's true now.
Yeah.
Well, the middle class is big. The middle class is
After
not
World
small.
War II, the
Okay.
middle class embraced a whole bunch. The working class became increasingly middle class.
Okay, let me put it a different way. Shrink.
And it took a world war to do that.
Middle class.
It may have been that was a continuation of Roosevelt's New Deal.
We'll never know.
So it's hard to distinguish between a previously existing trend and the major change that the World
And a
War
world
created.
changing. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I put down here that that if the Gini coefficient is the same or increases, there'll be fewer ultra wealthy, fewer middle class, and many more poor. Okay, if that is the case, is Carol back?
I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay, well, welcome back. Okay,
Welcome back, Cotter.
do you think that would be highly negative, neutral, positive, or highly positive?
I think it's highly negative.
Okay.
And just for historical perspective, something that I used to say when we were arguing economics in my 20s is that, and remember, this is me speaking in my 20s, having been born in 1945, I would say that I belong to the first generation of the first society in history where the majority of the people are middle class.
That was probably true 60 years ago.
Well, as I say, I'm talking about
Mhm.
1965.
Bob, can you scroll up slightly so I can see the block?
Yeah.
7 block. Thank you. And then I can scroll down usually. Now I can't.
In other words, what I'm saying is that a big middle class is a highly positive thing.
Of course.
If you shrink the middle class for any reason, it tends to be a bad thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, David?
I would agree with that.
1. Stan?
Can I,
1. Doug?
2.
Tom?
Eh,
Come on, you've had time to
It's
think.
What?
I've had too much time to think. Um,
Yeah.
That's actually, that's going to be my epitaph, but that's okay.
It's the word best that throws me.
No, it should wait. It should just say there will be.
There will always be the ultra wealthy and the ultra poor.
Yeah, all it's saying is that the ultra
concern,
wealthy, the number of ultra wealthy will shrink. The number of middle class will shrink. The number of poor will increase.
that doesn't make sense.
Why not?
Makes no sense.
Why
How can
doesn't
they
it?
both shrink?
How can they all shrink?
No, the poor will increase. Okay, you've got 100 people. At a point in time, 10 are wealthy, 50 are middle class, and 40 are poor. Okay.
Okay.
However, but it could
I
go.
would.
But later on, it will be that 5 are wealthy, 30 are middle class, and 65 are poor. That's what this is saying. Okay.
I get your premise. Yep.
Okay.
I understand that's what it's saying, so I guess it's a 3. But
3.
I don't think that's an ideal, anything approaching an ideal.
Well, it's not ideal. Okay.
Okay.
We're not talking about ideal. We're talking about negative and likely.
I misunderstood.
Okay.
That's my misunderstanding.
So you're gonna go for 3?
Yep.
Eric?
No, we're talking about impactful, aren't we? Not likely.
Yeah.
Charles Murray's great book Coming Apart a few years ago documented the increasing segregation of the, I guess, 5 quintiles, economic quintiles of the American population.
I read the book.
That it is happening, why it's happening, and the terrible
That's true.
consequences of that.
That's true, but what do you?
So it's very negative.
Okay,
is that
1.
what you want to ask now? Yes.
Okay, Warren.
Sure. 1.
Dean.
1.
Okay. So here we have something that's the most negative we've had yet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now we deal with likely. Are we likely to have a future if the Gini coefficient rises where this will take place?
Who's we?
The United States, the citizens of the United States.
We're only talking about the U.S. Okay.
Yeah, we are talking about the U.S. Yeah.
Yep.
Carol? Did she go away?
No,
No, she's thinking.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm predicting a future of economic collapse.
Well, that would
as
be
the climate crisis falls off the cliff.
Well, that would be you'd be definitely a 1. I don't know how you'd be anything but a 1.
Well, but
I mean highly likely.
No. You are hypothesizing.
Yeah, you'd be highly likely
that the economy is growing and G is growing, right?
Yeah. Yes. You don't think that's what's gonna happen?
I think it's extremely unlikely. Well, and again, depending on is it a 20-year scenario or a 50 years,
Well,
No.
5 and 20.
Yeah. David?
Yeah, I don't see this continuing. I think it's unlikely.
Okay. Oh, that's 2. That's 2. Stan?
3.
Doug?
2.
Tom T?
Unlikely. 2.
Eric?
No, China is surpassing us in the global death struggle for global domination by most objective criteria.
So a 1 or a 2?
So that's probably a 2. And they could fall apart they have in the past. So, but I'd say 2.
Warren?
1.
And Dean?
You guys are radicalizing me. 1.
Okay. So here we have something that would be highly negative, but it's highly unlikely we wouldn't follow up on it. Okay, guys, it's 11:40. I'm tired. Do you guys get the gist of what this is? I didn't do it perfectly, to be honest with you. It could have been better, but
Oh,
it at least gave you a feel for what the dealing with implications are.
Yeah, I like
Well,
how it forces us to think on the
would you
spot.
consider doing a follow-up on this
Yeah,
uh,
I could do a
in
follow-up.
another month or
Yeah,
so?
I could
If
do a
we look
follow.
at some of the
I
other
would do
examples.
a follow-up in a month or so if there's a
Yeah.
vacant spot in the calendar.
Bob, this is,
I would like to see you addressing some of the other likely scenarios.
Yeah.
Bob, this is a branch, a variant of decision theory from the at least set back to the 70s, if not sooner. And you see here in my book, From Patterns of Problem Solving, each of these little decision trees, they keep having more branches, which we didn't get into. Implication. Each implication has further implications of varying probabilities. I don't know if you can see the little
Yeah,
diagrams
I
here.
can see it.
Okay, so, and we didn't even begin to touch on that. And the subject, of course, is far too vast to even begin to discuss in a useful way. I mean, I'm going to pick one little subtopic of this and
Bob, my question is, are there more branches off of this?
Sure, you can go.
Sure.
So what you would do is
that's what I just showed.
you'd go to one that is highly the one that is most likely, but most either highly positive or highly negative, and you would choose that, and then you'd go to the third level, and then you go
Okay.
to the fourth level and fifth level. You can go on forever.
Okay.
Okay. But
Yeah.
I think this kind of thing is important. Um, I think it's not taught I didn't get any of this kind of stuff in my schooling, and I think it's important to be able to look at things and gather groups together to try to get some kind of um, reasonable depth of knowledge and space and width of opinions and deal with the implications of the decisions that are ahead of you in you. So I think it's a good thing, um, whether or not this was great or not, but it did give you a feel. So.
Well, this is like one of, oh my goodness, Patterns of Problem Solving here, which was 1975. And it's basically how to think usefully about the real world. And decision theories is one of a dozen or so chapters of different approaches.
Okay, guys, I'm going to take off. If you
Real
guys,
quick, Bob, I got my hand up. This is
okay,
remind me of San Diego State, my
yes,
alma mater, in two ways.
uh-huh.
My graduate level courses that I took, and strength training and aerobics in the gym. You're hurting my brain in the same beneficial way, I hope.
I hope so. Okay, guys, I'm out. Bye
Go
bye.
Thank you.
Tanya.
Hey, bye.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much,
Bob.
Bob.
This
You
is
bet.
really good.
Thank you, Bob.
Bye bye. You bet.
Hey.
Yes,
Time flew. It was
very,
fun.
very interesting.
Thanks, Bob.
You bet. Thanks, guys.
Thought
Kind of like
making.
brainstorming.
Join us more often.
Carol,
Please.
do you want to tell us what you're doing next week?
Yes. Do I have about 3 minutes?
Sure.
Take
Okay.
5 or 6.
Somewhere during the course of one of the recent presentations, I think it had to do with, or we were spinning off of planting rice. And I asked the question, what difference does it make? The human race is divided into two categories. Those who can digest milk as adults and those who cannot.
Those who fart.
And
Yeah.
those who cannot, by the way, includes all other mammalian species besides human beings. In other words, with any mammal, once they are weaned from mommy's milk and they are going out into the real world and eating food, they lose the ability to digest milk. And as I say, this is every single fucking mammalian species on the face of the earth except us. And for about 70% of human beings, they join all the other mammals and they lose the ability to digest milk as adults. And I'm saying, okay, or my original question was, well, what difference does that make? And that implies, why was there a mutation in the human race at approximately 7,000 years ago?
When we started domesticating animals and it was survival.
Yeah.
We were getting protein and fat.
When we started, we became a pastoral species capable of herding cattle and drinking milk.
And eating
and all the milk products.
And eating grass also.
What was that?
Eating grass. Wheat is grass.
Well, but through the processing of animals.
We are.
Oh, no. We started cultivating wheat in Mesopotamia.
Yeah.
Wait, let the woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Generally speaking, we cannot digest plain old grass.
Yeah.
The kind of grass that horses and cows graze on. Now, when you're talking about wheat, you are talking about grass that has gone to seed. And that's a totally different thing.
Correct.
But again, the species, even the mammalian species, divide between those like horses, cows, goats, etc., who can graze on grass and turn it into protein.
Because they're ruminants and we are not.
Let's see, are they all ruminants?
Well, to some degree.
Pretty much. I mean, they're chewing the cud and that sort of thing, which helps them.
Carol, I have a personal experience where with the milk, where it I drank as a farm kid, I drank it all the time, and I ended up with asthma when I was in the military overseas. Came back, treated through the VA. They could not cure it, do anything with it. I went to a guy and he said he did some special blood testing, and he said, "You got to get off of milk." And I said, "Really?"
You're lactose intolerant.
And what happened is I did, and I've been on almond milk since, and my asthma's pretty much gone away. So it was to me amazing, because I thought I was going to be with it for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and asthma is not a disease; it's a symptom.
Yep.
It's an allergic reaction. Period.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there are lots of people who have respiratory disease asthma, as opposed to your gastrointestinal disease asthma.
Yep. And let me do my milk anecdote. I used to drink 2 glasses of milk my adult life, because when I came back from Vietnam, there was no fresh milk. And so I was milking up like I was 3 years old, right? And would drink typically 2 glasses at dinner. And then I heard and read and whatever, that adult males don't need milk. Females might. Well, so I pretty much cut out milk, period, and reduced dairy. And then I ended up at 78 with some osteoporosis. My Y chromosome looked too much like an X to somebody. And then they go, oh, your calcium is low. Well, I eat bananas. Stop eating bananas because potassium reduces your calcium. And now I actually take a calcium supplement once a week.
Well,
to
at
help.
any rate, the way that this is going to get to the future, which of course is what I'm supposed to be talking about. So we will have a brief history of when a particular portion of the human race got this mutation, and the reason that the mutation spread started out west of the Urals and spread really quickly through Northern Europe.
Yep.
And then there is some question whether the American Indians got it by contagion across the land bridge, you know, from the other side of east of the
The
Urals,
Urals.
or
Urals are
whether they got it by contagion from the west.
They generally
All
can't
those
digest.
Vikings and such.
They don't have this.
Yeah, I'm before you, Eric, and I'll shut up. Now there is also what's it called, lactate. I actually didn't quit milk because that was like quitting smoking, you know. So I went to the lactate, whatever,
Yeah.
and that works for many people.
Yeah,
Millions.
you supplied the enzyme that the mutation supplied,
Right.
the outside. Now, but all of this is history, you know, and
Not
I'm
important,
using it as background for, would it be a good idea for us to, you know, we would have to organize it as a voluntary campaign, but would it be a good idea to continue spreading this mutation into India and, you know, places west?
Well, people will have that choice.
We
of
want a lot of
putting it
dairy
into their
cows
kids if they
polluting
want
this
to or
planet.
not in the future.
Well,
so it's not a
and
big issue. People will have
one
that
of the
ability.
things that I am thinking about is that there are so many scenarios that are what I call civilization ending. In other words, they are not the end of life on Earth, but they are the end of our level of civilization. And I mean, this could be a Carrington event. This could be, you know, an atomic war and fallout event that did not kill off the whole race. It just killed off the technology.
And we have had events like that in the past that
Yes.
wiped out maybe 30, 40, 50, 60, we don't know, percent
So
of
my
Homo sapiens
question
on the
would
planet.
be, now that we have the gene manipulations to do it, would it be a good idea to suggest to the parents of the next few generations of lactose intolerant people that they fix that in their genetic outcome and going forward? Because it would help a lot to keep that population alive after a civilization ending event.